What if everything you've been told about success is only half the truth? You've seen people rise fast, then disappear just as quickly. Ever wonder why? There are only two traits that build lasting status, and if you master them, you'll never have to chase respect again. We live in a world obsessed with appearances, viral fame, curated lifestyles, and the illusion of success. But behind all the noise, behind every enduring figure who's truly respected, lies a much simpler truth. Only two things genuinely elevate your status. Not fame that flickers and fades, not the admiration that comes with luxury or looks. Just two qualities, powerful, timeless, and magnetic. And once you understand them, truly commit to building them into the core of who you are. Something amazing happens. You won't have to chase status anymore, it will chase you. The first of these is competence. Competence is your ability to create value in the world. It's your skill, your mastery, your ability to solve real problems. And here's the beauty of it. It doesn't care where you come from, how many followers you have, or whether anyone notices you right now. If you're good, truly good people will find you. They'll want to work with you, listen to you, and follow where you lead. You don't need to shout to be heard. When you can deliver real results, the world listens. Think of it like this. When your car breaks down, do you ask if the mechanic went to a prestigious university? Or do you care if they can fix the engine? When your health is on the line, do you choose a doctor because of their Instagram profile? Or because they've proven they can heal? Competence creates authority. It builds influence without noise. It makes you necessary. And the best part? Competence isn't about being born with talent. It's about consistency. It's about choosing mastery when others choose mediocrity. It's about showing up, putting in the work, and earning your edge. So many people spend their lives pretending to be successful instead of doing the actual work. They've got the look, the words, but when it's time to perform, they collapse. Because here's the truth. Status built without substance is like a house of cards. Impressive until the wind blows. That's why competence alone is not enough. The second pillar, the one that keeps the doors open long after they've been unlocked, is character. Character is your inner foundation. It's who you are when no one's watching. Yes, competence gets you in the room, but character is what allows you to stay. You've seen it: wildly talented people who rise fast but fall even faster because their integrity couldn't hold the weight of their success. Because talent may get attention, but trust keeps it. And trust is built on how you treat people. It's about showing up with reliability, with honesty, with kindness, even when there's nothing in it for you. Character means being the kind of person others can depend on, the kind whose word means something. In a world that changes by the minute, stability is a superpower. And when people know you bring both excellence and integrity to the table, they don't just respect you, they rely on you. True status isn't loud. It doesn't beg to be noticed. It's the quiet confidence of someone who earns their influence. Many chase quick recognition, craving applause before they've built anything real. But the truth. Lasting status, the kind that opens doors and earns admiration, comes from just two things: becoming exceptional at something and living with unshakable integrity. When you do both, the world will take notice. Not because you demanded it, but because you became someone worth following. So if you truly want to raise your status, don't ask how to look successful. Ask how to become someone of real value. Because that's when everything starts to shift. Let's get one thing straight. The world doesn't hand out respect like participation trophies. It doesn't care about potential that's never activated. It rewards one thing: results. And those results, they're born from competence. Your ability to turn challenges into solutions, to create real value, to perform when the stakes are high. You can have the biggest dreams, the boldest goals, and all the ambition in the world. But if what you bring to the table doesn't move the needle, you'll find yourself constantly chasing respect and never catching it. Why? Because respect isn't owed, it's earned. And competence. It's not just some spark of natural talent. It's a commitment to mastery. It's hours and hours of focused effort. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. It's sweat sacrifice and the willingness to do what others won't so you can become what others can't. You don't get respect because you want it. You get it when you've built something undeniable, when your name carries weight not because you shouted, but because your work speaks louder than any claim you could make. When the pressure hits, when the room gets tense, and people start looking around for answers, they look to you. Not because you asked them to, but because your track record speaks for itself. You've shown time and time again that you get the job done. Take a look around, and this truth is everywhere. The ones who rise to the top, they're not dabblers. They're not halfway in. They're not the ones trying a little of this and a little of that. They're committed. In business, in sports, in any field, the people who stand out are the ones who've mastered their lane. They're not shouting for attention. They don't need to. Their results do the talking. The mistake so many people make. They try to grab status before they've earned it. They want the title before the training, the spotlight before the struggle. But what they don't realize is this: when status arrives too early, before it's been anchored in competence, it always collapses. Like a tower built on sand, it looks impressive until the first storm hits, and when that storm comes, you see it clear as day. The big talkers fall silent. The ones who looked powerful suddenly look panicked. Why? Because they were performing, not preparing. Their image was stronger than their ability. That's why competence is your protection. It's your armor. It's the solid ground beneath your feet. Because here's the truth: when you've put in the work, when you've refined your skills, when you've been through the fire and come out sharper, no one can take that from you. Not the critics, not the doubters, not the ones who ignored you. In the end, excellence demands attention. It cannot be hidden. But let's take this one step further. Competence isn't just about knowledge. It's not just about technical skill or credentials. It's about grit. It's about being the one who doesn't crack under pressure. The one who finds solutions when others only see problems. It's the ability to remain calm when things go sideways, to be the anchor in the storm. That's the kind of competence that elevates you. That's what earns real influence. Because when people realize they can count on you not just for facts, but for wisdom under fire, you stop being just good at your job. You become indispensable. And here's the part people miss. Competence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. It's a decision, a discipline, a choice to go further, learn deeper, stay longer. It's falling, failing, learning, and doing it all again until you're standing on a foundation you laid brick by brick. Most people won't do that. They want the outcome, not the process, the applause, not the effort. And that's why very few truly succeed. So if you're serious about raising your status, don't start by asking for recognition. Start by becoming someone worthy of it. Find your lane, get to work, and build mastery so deep that people can't ignore it. And once you've done that, once you've become exceptional at something, it's time to talk about the second ingredient, the one that makes your influence not just powerful, but lasting. Not average, not just decent. Great, that's the standard. That's what truly sets you apart. Become the kind of person others count on, the one who gets results, the one who delivers, no matter the pressure. Because when you reach that level, status stops being something you chase. It starts to follow you, quietly, steadily, and inevitably. Competence, as we've said, opens the door, but it's character that decides how long you're welcome inside. You can impress people for a moment with a sharp mind, a skillful hand, a streak of success. but lasting respect. That's never just about what you can do. It's about who you are when no one's clapping. It's about whether people trust you, not only for your talent, but for your integrity. Let's face it, the world is full of brilliance that never blooms. Talented people who crash before they ever reach their peak. Why? Because character was missing. They cut corners. They played selfish. They said one thing and did another. And over time, no matter how dazzling their skills were, people stopped believing in them. Because ultimately, people don't follow talent alone, they follow trust. Think about the people you admire most. Who would you go out of your way to help? Who do you actually respect enough to listen to, even when it's hard? It's not always the flashiest or the smartest. It's the ones who show up consistently. The ones who follow through. The ones whose word means something. They might not be perfect, but they're predictable in the best way. They don't just look the part, they live it. And that's what builds sustainable status. Without character, success is a sandcastle, impressive until the tide comes in. You can rise fast, but you'll fall even faster if your foundation isn't solid. History's full of examples. Leaders who built reputations on charm and charisma, only to watch it all crumble when the truth came out. CEOs who scaled empires through manipulation and deceit. Celebrities who burned every bridge they crossed. They had all the ingredients for greatness except character. And when that's missing, no amount of talent can keep you standing. But the reverse is just as true. When you build your life on character, your reputation becomes bulletproof. People stand by you not just because of your skill set, but because they trust your spirit. That kind of respect lasts. That kind of status doesn't waver when trends shift or circumstances change. Now, let's clear something up. Character isn't just about being a good person in some vague moral sense. It's practical, it's visible, it's actionable. It's about how you treat people, how you handle pressure, how you respond when no one's watching. Do you show up on time? Keep your promises. Own your mistakes. These aren't small things. They're everything. People are watching even when you think they aren't. They notice how you handle the little things. They see if you respect others, not just when there's something to gain, but when there's nothing in it for you. That's where trust is built. That's where influence is born. You don't have to be perfect. No one is. But you do have to be consistent. You have to be someone others can count on, especially when things get hard. Because while competence may get you invited into the room, it's character that makes people want you to stay. Here's where so many go wrong. They confuse status with appearance. They think it's about wearing the right watch, saying the right words, being seen in the right places with the right people. They think if they stack up enough money, if they get enough likes, they've made it. But let me ask you something. What happens when the money fades? When the spotlight shifts? Because if your identity is built on image, you're only ever one crisis away from collapse. One market crash, one exposed lie, one shift in culture, and it all disappears. Money can buy access, it can buy influence for a while, but it can't buy respect. Respect comes from how you live, not what you own. And appearance, sure, it'll turn heads. But when the pressure hits, no one's asking how stylish you look. They're asking, can I trust you? We've all seen people who have it all. The wealth, the status, the fame, yet still live with insecurity. Still feel like they have to prove themselves. Because deep down, they know what they built was shallow. What they built could be taken away. But when your status is built on competence and character, no one can take that from you. Not the economy, not the algorithm, not the rumors. Because it wasn't built on trends, it was built on truth. It wasn't designed to impress, it was forged to endure. And that's why the people who understand this, who commit to mastering their craft, showing up with integrity, and doing the hard work of becoming someone real. Those people, they don't just earn status. They keep it. They don't have to fake it. Don't have to chase it. Don't have to explain it. It follows them. Quietly, powerfully, consistently. Because the world respects what's real. So don't fall for the illusion that status comes from surface. Look deeper. Build deeper. Focus on what you can be, not just what you can appear to be. Because when you do that, you'll discover something powerful. Status takes care of itself. It all comes down to what you do every single day. Not the grand gestures, not the big moments you post online, but the quiet decisions when no one's watching. That's where true status is born. If you want to be someone people trust, respect, and choose to follow, you must become that person through deliberate, consistent action. Competence and character don't magically appear. They don't fall from the sky. They're developed over time, crafted like a sculpture through focused effort, daily discipline, and a refusal to settle for mediocrity. Let's start with competence. Not good enough. Not getting by. Greatness. That's the goal. Because people respect excellence, and excellence isn't an accident. It's the product of relentless practice, late nights, early mornings, and an unshakable mindset that says, I will get better no matter how long it takes. Too many people crave recognition before they've earned results. They want to be seen as successful before they've mastered the skill. But the world doesn't reward potential, it rewards proof. You don't get status because you look the part. You get it because you deliver. That means doing the hard work, studying your craft, asking better questions, practicing when others are relaxing, challenging yourself when no one is applauding. Growth doesn't happen in the spotlight, it happens in the dark. And it always comes with setbacks, frustration, even doubt. But those who rise, they keep showing up. They keep learning. They keep pushing. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for the right moment. They act. Because in the end, it's not your potential that speaks for you, it's your results. And if you want real influence, real respect, you have to be the person who gets things done, especially when it matters most. But here's the twist. Skill alone won't get you there. Competence opens the door. Character keeps it open. If people can't trust you, if your word means nothing, if you disappear when things get hard, your status will always be fragile. That's why developing character isn't optional, it's essential. And character is built the same way as skill, through habits. Keeping your promises. Following through. Respecting people even when they can't offer you anything in return. It's easy to say you have integrity. It's much harder to live it, especially when there's something to lose. But that's when character is tested and forged. It's revealed in how you handle pressure. Do you take ownership or do you blame others? It's shown in how you treat the forgotten, the overlooked, the ones without titles or status. Do you honor them the same way you do someone powerful? And it's visible in the choices you make when they cost you something. Because people notice. They're always paying attention even when they seem like they aren't. And over time, the way you live creates a reputation that speaks louder than any title ever could. This isn't about being perfect. No one is. But it is about being consistent. Are you the person others can count on? Do your actions match your words? Can people trust you to stand firm in a world that's constantly shifting? When the answer is yes, something incredible happens. You become a pillar in other people's lives, and the status that comes from that is unshakable. Not because it's loud or flashy, but because it's real. And here's something powerful to remember. Building competence and character isn't a one-time choice. It's a daily pursuit. It's in the books you read, the time you invest, the way you speak, the way you listen, the way you carry yourself when no one's watching. The small things, they add up to everything. So if you're serious about rising up, it's simple, but not easy. You have to do the work. The good news: it's all in your hands. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need someone to give you a chance. You just need to decide. Decide to improve. Decide to be dependable. Decide to live in a way that earns trust and radiates respect. Because once you do, you'll begin to notice something change, not just in how the world sees you, but in how you see yourself. When you commit to doing the real work, when you invest in mastery, live with integrity, and walk with consistency, status becomes something you attract, not something you have to run after. The world always finds space for those who bring real, lasting value. You don't have to force it. You don't have to scream for recognition. Because when you've done the work, your presence speaks for itself. But here's something we often forget. Status isn't just about what you achieve, it's about how you make others feel. People might admire success from afar, but they only follow those who move them. And that kind of influence. It's never about controlling others or demanding attention. It's not about showing power or proving your worth. True influence is quiet, but it's unforgettable. It's earned moment by moment through your actions, your demeanor, and the way others feel seen, heard, and uplifted when you're around. Real influence lives in the impact you make when you're not trying to impress anyone. It lives in the words you choose, the attention you give, the respect you offer, even to those who can do nothing for you. The biggest mistake people make: thinking status needs to be proven. So they overcompensate. They talk too much. They show off. They try to control the narrative instead of just living it. But the people who command true respect, they don't need to dominate the room. They don't need to constantly remind you who they are. Their energy does that for them. Because true influence doesn't shout, it resonates. It settles deep. It sticks. Think about the people who shaped you. The mentors, the leaders, the quiet heroes in your life. Chances are they weren't the loudest in the room. They weren't focused on spotlight or applause. They were steady, present, authentic. They didn't just seek status, they used what they had to lift others higher. And that's the difference between shallow status and real influence. Shallow status is self-serving. It's hollow, like chasing echoes in an empty room. It looks good on the outside but lacks weight on the inside. Real influence, however, leaves a mark. It's the reason someone believes in themselves. It's the memory someone carries after a single conversation. It's the kind of legacy that lingers long after you've left the room. And here's the truth. People might forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. So if you want to elevate your status, shift your focus. Look less in the mirror and more into the hearts of the people around you. Ask yourself, do I inspire others or intimidate them? Do I create connection or competition? Do I build trust or simply demand loyalty? The people who truly rise, who are remembered, respected, and followed, aren't always the loudest or the most gifted. They're the ones who understand people, who connect deeply, who make others feel like they matter. You don't need a title to carry influence. You don't need millions of followers or a fancy job description. Influence is about how you move in the world. It's about what people feel when they're in your presence and what they remember when you're gone. So let this be your focus. Don't just chase status. Create impact. Because those who leave a legacy are never just chasing their own rise. They're lifting others as they climb.